Now, when we're talking about pairs, we can obviously see our 3 capsule lineup. We've got the Legends, the Contenders, and the Challengers, each of which also have their autograph format, but we're really focused on this main 3 capsule format. Coming over to Copenhagen here, people kind of hypothesized what was going to happen. For a while, we thought there was going to be an opening, an elimination, and a playoff stage that was going to break up the capsules. Now it doesn't really seem like that. Based off some leaks, it seems like we're going to get the Legends, the Contenders, and the Challengers here for pairs, but we don't know exactly why we haven't seen them yet. Maybe by the time you're watching this video, they've been released, but the truth is there's so much going on for Valve here. One possible explanation that a lot of people are looking at is the whole 9 Pandas situation. If you didn't know, 9 Pandas actually qualified for the major. They were going to the major until they couldn't get their visas, and therefore they had to go ahead and pull out, and Gamer Legion went ahead and replaced them inside of the Copenhagen major here. This created such a big discrepancy of what teams were going to be in the capsules if Valve should release the capsules beforehand, and this is a very possible explanation as to why we didn't receive these capsules yet, because Valve didn't want to have a very similar situation to what they had in the past, where they had to pull out a team, and it created a whole bunch of imbalances and just a whole bunch of chaos that was really not needed, especially for the first CS2 major, where there's already so much going on. When you look at a screen like this, it's very not beginner friendly, and changing out the teams would definitely not help.
SkinSwap is today's sponsor, and they're also sponsoring you with a free bonus for signing up with the first link in the description. They're the premier place for CSGO and Rust skins, with a massive trading site and a top-of-the-line marketplace, offering you the most competitive rates out there and a massive 40% bonus when you're using that link in the description. Combine that with their top-of-the-line selling feature with many payout options, and their trading feature legitimately taking you just about a minute, and there's no reason not to sign up with that first link in the description.
But we've got so much else going on, specifically what I call the market meltdown. Now, if you want to look at pairs like we were just previously mentioning, look at the 5-day graph, you can see that it actually looks surprisingly good in my personal opinion. Obviously, we knew when Copenhagen released, we saw the borderless stickers, it was not going to be a very good situation for pairs. Pairs was the #1 most liquid item in the game. It was the #1 biggest area of market share when we're talking about the sticker market, and therefore the fact that something was going to be a direct competitor to it is definitely going to impact it in a very negative degree. But when we're talking about pairs, it's actually seen a pretty decent recovery. Honestly, in my personal opinion, I think this is about as well as it could have gone, because we knew there was going to be a lot of FOMO into this area, and it seems like a lot of that FOMO has actually hit pairs in a positive light. People are investing back into pairs because they see how bad Copenhagen looks already. Obviously, tweaks can be made, but it's a very good start for pairs, considering we know that pairs was already on a decent increasing trajectory when we're talking about the application numbers, and we're talking about the overall supply. Obviously, it's only going to be decreasing, but there is still a massive supply. Now, unfortunately, talking about Stockholm and Antwerp, we're not seeing the same exact trend develop. A lot of these capsules for Stockholm and Antwerp are down a lot more than what we're seeing for pairs. So here we're looking at potentially a 20% drop all across the board for Antwerp and Stockholm. This is for a couple different reasons. If we want to talk about Antwerp, obviously it's at a much more expensive price point. Therefore, you're going to need people with a larger budget to go ahead and pick up that slack. A lot of these investments, people have made a decent amount of money off of them already, and therefore they're willing to sell them off for a slight dip because they're still making so much money. The biggest thing when we're focusing it on these graphs, specifically the 5 days, is you can see exactly what's going on. The truth is there's just so much liquidity happening inside of these areas that just aren't as liquid as we're usually seeing. The truth is these capsules don't see a ton of action, and right now they're being flooded with people who are interested, but also there's a lot of people that are now selling these off, and therefore these capsules just can't handle that amount of liquidity coming into them so quickly, and we're starting to drop down because people are selling off to those buy orders because they want their money immediately. Now, if you're sitting there with your investments into the sticker market, what should you be doing right now? Well, in my honest opinion, if you've got Antwerp or Stockholm, I think it would be a terrible idea to go ahead and liquidate these out. If we want to look at the statistics, they are on a roll right now. They are on an increasing trajectory. It could be just because we got that brand new update, but the truth is I think these have a very strong potential behind them, and at a cheaper price point, not only would it be a shame not to pick more up, but I think it would be an absolute shame to try and sell some of them off for other investments in the current moment. I think it's just a huge mistake. Talking about Paris, I honestly think if you invested in Paris, you knew something like this was going to come along, and therefore holding onto it should probably be more so of just what you thought you were going to have to do, and therefore selling off would just really not make sense in my current opinion. Now, we have a very unique opportunity right now. That's because we don't have the sticker capsule, or at least when I'm recording the audio, we don't have the sticker capsules. Therefore, that opens up a huge possibility of Valve to go ahead and add in further content. Now, I don't think it's guaranteed, but there is a couple big possibilities we have seen in the past that I think are somewhat likely to go ahead and make a return in the near future. The first one is going to be patches. When we're talking about team patches, although they came out in Stockholm, they didn't have a lot of demand there, and they had a super low supply. Therefore, they've morphed into something that they really just never should have been. But the truth is, there's a lot of potential there now. People are very interested in this in agents, and when we come out with more agents, people want to go ahead and apply these, and right now the supply is so low, the potential is there for Valve, and they already make these already with the graffitis and the stickers. All they need to do is just plaster it onto a new background. The other one is going to be the reintroduction of storage units that are specific to the major. We saw it with Rio, how we saw these brand new storage units that came out that were extremely expensive. $70 for a storage unit filled with every single glitter sticker. The truth is, I think these are an absolutely terrible pickup, but they offer so much profit potential for Valve that the fact that we haven't seen them return at all is very interesting to me. Now that the major is officially underway, you can go ahead and redeem yourself some souvenir packages. Now, souvenir packages, looking at the graph right here, are absolutely terrible terrible when it comes to falling off in demand. Once the major finishes, souvenir packages die out completely, but the truth is you are probably going to end up with some of them. No matter what, whenever you upgrade your coin, you're going to be getting a souvenir package token. That means as long as you're not Don Hachi, you're going to be ending up with probably 2 to 3 of these tokens to go ahead and utilize inside of this. Now, honestly, I would suggest you go for the matches that you really want to, because as an investment purpose, these ones are almost guaranteed to be the biggest flops ever. We can look at what happened with Paris. All of them are under $3 right now, but there's definitely the potential if you want to go ahead and open these or do whatever with you. This is fun. This is not something I would say is an investment. Souvenir packages have turned out to be terrible investments ever since the discontinuation of Dust 2. However, I will say if you want to give yourself the strongest potential, I would wait until every match is finished and the entire major is finished, because if we're going to see a map removed, they're going to do it afterwards the major, and therefore you could have the chance to go ahead and pick one up that's discontinued, at least put yourself in a possible position to make a decent amount of profit if that's what you want to do. Now, I said it once and I'm going to go ahead and repeat it again. The case market right now is really catching my interest. Everyone is focused in on the sticker market right now, and I think that's going to be the facade and the fade for the next 2 weeks. But once the Copenhagen major finishes up, all of this, I believe every single person is going to transition to the case market, and I would highly suggest you start looking at it now, because I think there's so much potential inside of this area. We're talking about the case market. The case unboxing numbers right now are going absolutely crazy. They're not at that 20 million base level we were looking at for a long period of time. They're above that right now, and the hype is not even inside of this area. Right now, the capsule market, the sticker market has all of it, and I think the case market is definitely going to be picking up a lot of this interest in the next upcoming weeks when we see this transition. If we want to talk about the case prices right now, we're really not seeing any movement. In fact, some of them have even gone down very slightly in the past week, which is absolutely insane considering we know exactly what this area is potentially going to bring. Please obviously make your own investments. The biggest thing I'm going to say though is the CS market for investing moves so quickly when we're talking about the hype, and if you're not there before the hype actually happens, it moves very quickly and you're going to be missing out on the majority of the profit. This is how CS investing works. It works in cycles, and you need to be there before the cycle starts, because once it starts on that upward trajectory, it's very hard to tell where you should be investing at before you end up getting burned, because it starts going down very quickly as well. Make your own decisions, use data, and please, for whatever you do, don't just focus in on one market. Now, one area that's crucially important for investing is going to be the sale. We can look at this right here. Sales have been going longer and longer when we're talking about majors, and we want to look at Paris. It happened to be almost half a year long. Absolutely insane. But the truth is, there's a lot of investing potential that comes with this, and specifically, you shouldn't be focusing in on any actual investments until the sale comes. This goes for opening up capsules to try and make a profit. This goes for actually investing into these capsules. Everything is going to come with the sale, and I would highly suggest you make a plan before the sale, so when it comes, you know exactly what you're doing, but don't actually make any moves just yet. It's going to be very important that when the sale comes, you know the position you want to be in, you know the capsules you want to open, and you know everything about what you want to do. My biggest piece of advice for you is don't wait. If you want an investment, you want to go ahead, capitalize off of it now. I mentioned before, but the market moves in cycles, and if you miss out on just half of the cycle, almost all of your profit is going to be gone depending on when you invested into it. It's very important that you're there, and you're there for the long haul. Don't make an investment decision based off a single day. Make sure you're looking at the long period of time, and make sure you're always using data. That's all I got. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great rest.